Hey guys, welcome to the Colin with the Boys podcast. My name is Ascend, and I'm here with my co-host Nathan.
What up?
This is episode 21, titled Samuel Adams for Breakfast.
Beer's not just for breakfast anymore.
Yes, it is. Also, I've been told by someone, I won't name them, that I say, awesome, man, a lot on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree with that. I'm trying to think of the other things you say a lot, but you're like, yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, oh, that's awesome. So, hopefully I didn't do it too much on this episode.
Oh, you did.
When we
Absolutely
were recording
did.
it, when we were recording it, I was actively trying to stop myself a little bit from doing that. So I'm sure it still came out a little bit, but awesome, man. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man, for sure. That's it right there, for sure. That's the other part, for sure, man.
Yeah, I do say for sure a lot. Yeah, that's my shtick. That's what I wanna
Go-to
call it.
phrase.
Today our guest is Samuel Adams. He's a YouTuber, a streamer that has streamed on both Mixer and Twitch, and he's also a podcaster, so he's got a lot of stuff going on. We talked to him about the Mixer versus Twitch debate. We cover the E3 conference pretty good, I would say. I don't know. We just kind of shit on the ones that sucked and
Poor
and,
Sony.
praise the one that was good. Yeah, poor Sony. We talk about battle royales and podcasting at the ass crack of dawn. So
Caffeinate, baby.
yeah, so sit back, caffeinate, and open a cold brewed iced coffee for this one.
Yeah. I just wanna crack that door with that boys, yeah.
No more baby mamas, no more kids to watch, cause I got babysitters. Now it's time for licking, come on, give it to me, cause it's my escape. Now it's time to annihilate, let my troubles all die away. I'm on a diet, hey. Please do not try this, cause do not invite it. I'm dripping in go call the Midas. This night I was excited, it got me reignited. I've been waiting so long I can't fight it, but now I'm Mike Tyson inside, I'm on fire. It ain't nothing like a true bro.
All right, man. So just for everyone out there, I'm very familiar with what you do at this point because I creeped on you. I hope that's okay.
You cyber stalked him?
Yes.
I mean, I don't mind.
Doxed him.
By
I
all
know
means.
everything about him. I know where he lives.
Terrifying.
Oh my God.
Slightly
It's
terrified.
terrifying.
It's all right. I did a little cyber stalking. I saw you drive a Ford. That's weird.
Hey, I mean, it was cheap, man.
It's all right.
But for the listeners out there, just tell them like all the things you do, like all the different things you're involved in, because we will go over a lot of them through this podcast.
Well, to start it off, about 6 years ago, I got on YouTube and I was just kind of messing around. They had that theater mode in Modern Warfare 3. And I was like,
Hell yeah.
I was just doing clips and shit. And then I figured out that I really liked editing videos. So here I am like 6 years later, and I've been doing streaming on Twitch and different platforms. I'm still doing YouTube like pretty much 6 days a week or so. And I've been experimenting with other platforms like Facebook and Mixer. And I've been really keeping up with how the whole thing is changing. And so I've been doing social media stuff on Instagram and of course, I'm very heavy on Twitter use, as you guys can probably tell. But I'm on everything because I'm so amazed at the way the technology has progressed. So that's pretty much what it is. I'm making content everywhere and it's super fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's really good to kind of stick your fingers into everything and get yourself out there for sure.
That's a really bad analogy. Stick your fingers into everything.
I mean, I stick my fingers into everything. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't know about Nathan, but I'm on the same page.
Yeah, there you go, man.
You know me, dude. I dip my fingers in just about everything.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a really, I think people get too caught up. I mean, we're getting really in depth here 2 minutes in, but I think people get too caught up in getting so infatuated with one platform and falling in love with the platform and not realizing that there's such a higher potential in other places if you do it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, man. So I mean, you're actually popping our cherry on Mixer streamers.
Oh, really?
because,
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had 20 previous episodes. You're our first Mixer streamer. We're really excited for that because
Yeah.
we've heard a lot about it. I've checked it out. I've checked out a few streamers on there, and you're actually the first one that I checked out and stayed in the channel and actually, looked through it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed myself. So like, tell me a little, have you ever streamed on Twitch before, or did you just kind of start with Mixer? What's the story
Oh, yeah.
there?
Yeah, well, like I said, I started with YouTube, and then, of course, streaming began to kind of not necessarily take over what YouTube was really doing, but it came into the space, and Twitch was the first one that everybody that was really into the gaming community knew about. And probably around I would say late 2014, early 2015, I started streaming on Twitch, and I did that for about, I guess, a year and a half on and off. I didn't fall in love with it, but it was fun from time to time. And, I was an affiliate. I got an affiliate back in January. And then as, more of these platforms blossomed and stuff, I saw Mixer and I thought that I would go ahead and give it a shot. So I've been at that for a while, and there's a lot of differences between Mixer and Twitch. And then I've been also checking out what Facebook has going on. That's kind of a running joke in my community and the people that watch my stuff is that you never know where I'm going to be. Like, I'm just always all over the place, but I've really kind of started to get I've gotten into a kind of a groove with Mixer in the way that I was in a groove with Twitch, to where it's just a comfortable platform, but there are definitely a lot of differences as well.
Yeah.
I think,
go ahead.
I was going to think that right now would be a good time to make the jump to Mixer if you're a new streamer, from what I've been hearing. And like, I've been scrolling through Twitter. I pay attention to Twitter quite a bit. And lately it's all been bashing affiliates. And I don't know why, and I don't get it, but seems like a lot of the partners are coming out and they're upset with the affiliates because I guess Twitch just updated some stuff, and now affiliates are getting more and more closer to what the partners are, and I guess the partners aren't happy.
Yeah, well, back in the day, whenever I say back in the day, as in, it was like 3 or 4 years ago, being a partner was a big achievement, and it still is today, but
Right.
the standards have been lowered to the point where it's still very feasible in a society and in a gaming culture where more people are watching the bigger streamers rather than going down and watching the little people, quote unquote.
Right.
And so with affiliates and partnerships, the kind of battle they have going back and forth that's kind of been created on social media is that the affiliates are kind of like the low-hanging fruit, and then partnership used to be such a huge achievement that people have worked hard 5 or 6 years ago, and now a lot of the features that they work so hard for are available to people that have 3 viewers. And so to be somebody that was in that situation where you really did have to push yourself, I kind of understand, but at the same time, the whole setup is changing right now to where that's not like, you just want to be able to monetize your content in a way that Twitch can make money, you can make a little bit of money, and it's not quite as exclusive as it used to be,
Right. Yeah, I completely understand that. I mean, if I was a Twitch partner, that might tick me off. But I think they're talking about actually giving some more features, like some new features, or I heard something about them giving them a shorter time on when they can redeem their like bits and money that they've gotten through their subs.
The affiliates?
The partners. I've heard they're trying to do something like that to kind of give them a little edge again. Because for what I've heard is the affiliates are now getting like the sub emotes. So like when you're subbed, you can actually get their little emote next to your name. And
Are you talking about the sub badge? Yeah.
Yeah, the badge. Yeah. So you're going to be getting that, and yeah, you pretty much have all of the features now that partners had. But I think they're going to have to do something to kind of reciprocate that with the partners, like to give them some new feature.
Yeah, as time has gone on and like these features have begun rolling out to affiliates, I think the thing that I've seen the most is that they're more apt to offer specific partnerships between Twitch and companies that are affiliated with Twitch to those that are partnered. So like, for instance, I don't know if you guys have heard about the Bounty Board.
No.
Okay, so essentially, whenever you do branded or sponsored content, traditionally it's been where a company reaches out to you and say that you are, I don't know, if you have Dr. Lupo, I don't know much about Dr. Lupo, but everybody knows him. So
Right.
If you have like a Corsair keyboard or something and he gets sponsored by Corsair, that's a sponsored deal that everybody knows he has, and it's like branded and whatnot. But now there's a bounty board on the dashboard to where select partners that are in this kind of testing program can go in and select what they want to have featured on their stream. So like I tweeted out earlier in the day, I was on Dr. Disrespect's channel watching him play Fortnite, and down below the stream, there was a thing where you get 500 bits if you buy this Gillette razor. And so
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there's like this giant banner. And so there's these partnership deals that are pushing the boundaries of the monetization side of what streaming is bringing to the table because of the fact that these partners are, signed with Twitch. They have this amazing, chance to do this. And so they're getting in on the first dibs of what could potentially be rolled out to affiliates, but they'll always get the first taste. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I did hear that Dr. Disrespect did get backed by Gillette, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's got nuts.
but yeah, that's interesting that they're doing that. They're actually implementing that on the Twitch dashboard to where partners are able to do that. I mean, that would definitely give them an edge again on what kind of income they can make from streaming.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
I still think that partners have the edge no matter what, because if you're a partner, you obviously did the grind, you have the viewership, and you have the community to get you to the partnership step. Whereas the affiliates, I mean, I know the requirements for affiliate isn't super crazy. It's like 40 hours.
Followers, I think.
Yeah.
Relatively anyone can do it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So to being an affiliate now is almost like every streamer. Like if you put some time in on Twitch, you can get affiliate within, 3 months, as long as, you dedicate yourself to it, so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
And the grind for partnership could take years back in the day. So I think if you have the community and you have the viewership and all that to make to partner, I still think they have a much higher, niche in the Twitch community than what an affiliate ever will. And I mean, not taking shots at anybody, but I think it's kind of shitty on the partners' part to look down at the affiliates and, start begrudging them a few measly subs here and there because, you didn't have to work as hard as I did. I was like, come on now. Like,
oh yeah,
it's a platform. Let them have fun.
But that's like the analogy I can use for that is like, imagine we're playing WoW because we're both WoW players. So imagine you're playing WoW, you spend like months trying to get some achievement, and then the new patch rolls out and that achievement becomes like cheese to get and people can get it in like 2 days.
Happens
that would kind of,
bro.
I know, but like stuff like that, like, I mean, for me, it kind of irks me. I'm like, damn it. Like I put so much time into that and now it's so easy. So I guess that's the way that I look at it with partners. I can see why some may be frustrated.
I don't know. I guess I look at it as I put the wrench time in when it was actually difficult to do. And so whether other people have it or not, I know that I took the time and went through the grind to do it, and it means more to me than it does to them, being able to cheese through it. But that's my spiel, I guess.
So you just feel
I think
better.
it's kind of on a person to person basis where there are some partners that simply don't give a shit and they're like, okay, everybody has sub buttons now for the most part. That's cool. There's some that I know that I'm sure if you guys have a podcast like this, you probably watch or listen or know of Professor Broman. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Broman, he had his sub button and he was like eligible to turn it on back when it was difficult to get. And he just didn't because he took pride in the content and he wanted people to push it out to other platforms as well and be like, hey, share my thing instead of subbing to me. Right. And I think that brings it back into where the real thing that you have to do here, where a sub button is so available, a sub button is so easy to get, is to be proud of your content and to focus more on the quality of the stream, the quality of what the interaction is between you and your viewers, rather than how many subs do I have, what is my bit, goal for the month or whatever. You have to take pride in what you do,
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I think, they're looking at these affiliates and like, oh, they're getting subs. But if you're getting, to the affiliate point and, that's your goal and you're just doing it for, the chance to get a couple bucks here and there every month from a few subs that you get or a few donations that you get, like those people I feel are not going to make it higher than what they are at now. Because just like you said, it's all about your content. We've talked to a lot of Twitch streamers, and they reciprocate that idea is if you want to, if you go into it thinking that you're going to, make a bunch of money and do it full time and you're not having fun with it, you're never going to progress past, being an affiliate and, having a few bucks come in every month. Because it's, if you're going into it for the money, people are going to be able to tell. Like, I can go into a stream and I like to hop around to the little smaller streamers just to see, what's going on. And you can automatically tell from the people that actually enjoy what they're doing, put out good content, have good interaction with the community, and the people that are there just staring at their computer screens, hoping to get some, bits to come by or subs to come by or whatever. And there's a big difference. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So what's the difference then, switching from Twitch to Mixer? What's the process in Mixer? Like, is there an affiliate program, or is it difficult to get partnership? How does that side work?
Right now, the partnership on Mixer it's a very complicated thing. So technically, there are kind of the same qualifications as Twitch. Of course, they're much lower. I think you have to have 70 concurrent viewers and 1,000 followers, if I remember correctly. It might be 500. It's very low. It's not much as compared to partnership on Twitch.
Right.
But the thing with it is, it's harder right now to get that concurrent, because the way that the majority of people find streams on Mixer is blatantly through Xbox, because if you go on your Xbox One and you click the right button on your controller, it literally takes you to the Mixer homepage. Like, it is built into the it's built into the Xbox dashboard. Needless to say, you're probably going to find a couple of kids in that little demographic right there that jump around to streams, that find you, and then they'll say one thing in the chat that's, incoherent, and then they'll leave. But it's beginning to kind of transition to where more people are coming over to Mixer from Twitch, and more people are seeing what is coming down the pipe, because it is getting traction. So even in the short time that I've been on it, I've noticed that the audience that I have has matured almost,
Mm-hmm.
And but as far as the partnership and the affiliate stuff goes, there's no affiliate as of right now, because there isn't a point to have one, since the partnership program isn't huge. But the partnership program is relatively accessible, and also they do make exceptions. Like right now, they're trying to really push creative streamers and variety streamers instead of just people that play Fortnite and PUBG. So if you have 13 viewers on a creative stream where you're knitting a blanket or some shit like that, then you're probably going to be more eligible for a partnership, just because you're the only person knitting a blanket on Mixer or whatever.
I think that makes sense.
Knitting blankets, dude.
But I mean, it's cool that they're able to kind of reach out and be like, you are the first person doing this, here, have a button. And then they're trying new things, and they're really trying to beef up the partnership program, and I like that. So
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, what Nathan said, I'm gonna start knitting blankets. We're gonna do that, dude. We're gonna get 15 viewers, one more.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
we'll do it.
I'm going to hop in there and start tying flies for fly fishing, see how many viewers I can get.
But I mean, you could do that kind of stuff, and people would probably come, just because people like just hanging out and talking in streams in the same way they do on Twitch. But the community is way nicer over on Mixer. You do not get people saying, oh, why the hell are you knitting a blanket or any shit like that. It's just people are really accepting. And on top of that, there's no bits or anything like that. But like I said, the community is just so different. It just has a different vibe altogether, and it takes some getting used to, because I'm so used to seeing Monka S and Feels Bad Man and Try Hard in my chat. But
take on, brother.
Come on, bro. But there's just there's such a different, I think it's culture. There's just a different culture on Mixer that takes some getting used to. And but once you jump over and you build your own community, it really isn't anything different. And the same goes for going over to YouTube Gaming or Facebook or anything. As long as you have that core group that you cater to, then you're fine for the most part. It's still different though.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed about Mixer, and this is just from coming to your stream and staying for a while, is how fast. I mean, I know Twitch has some kind of feature like this, but how fast you're able to see the Mixer chat on your end. Now I know on Twitch it's pretty instant as well, but I feel like I don't know if it's you. It might be you that you're just quick and you're just reading chat all the time. But I feel like with Mixer, as soon as I press enter with my comment, you're replying, you see it right then.
Well, that's a combination of the technological side of Mixer, because that's what they've built their program on, is that the chat is available for the streamer to see in less than 0.5 seconds, and then it sends that right back out. So it's literally like having an interaction even with the new low latency on Twitch. It went from being 20 to 30 seconds of latency to between 5 and 10. Mm-hmm. So it's better, but it's not quite on that same level of he says something, they said something. There's a completely different vibe there. And that's one thing I love about Mixer, is that you can just actually have a conversation with someone.
Right.
It's kind of cool in that way, but you can also turn that off if your connection can't handle it. So you can always just have that traditional kind of 5 to 10 seconds, which is perfectly fine for the majority of people. But to have that, it's called FTL. I think it's faster than light, something like that. But it's a pretty cool little thing just to be able to have a conversation, especially if you're like me and you're really into chat and you're really into the interactive side of things, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next is like with your stream specifically, dude, you're in the conversation. Like you can, like you have a talent of multitasking that I don't see with many streamers. And I say that because you're literally sitting there like headshotting people on Battlefield. And at the same time, you're answering someone's question with like a well thought out, like, response. Like, I'm just like, what is going on? You're just like, yeah, you're just like talking about whatever the conversation's about. And at the same time, you're playing Battlefield. And I don't know. I thought that was really, really cool to see.
Well, I appreciate that, man. But, you know, I think it's just one of those things where I never think about what I'm doing whenever I'm playing the games or anything like that. I just kind of have a conversation with the chat because I stream for the chat, you know? Yeah. Like there are some people that stream and they're like, I'm going to get the crispiest headshots in Fortnite. I'm going to get the highest number of kills in PUBG. I'm going to get so many, you know, all this, you know, chicken dinners or whatever. And I stream and it's not that I'm good at whatever game I'm playing, although I might be. I'm pretty good at Battlefield 1. But but it's like, it's not that I'm good at whatever game I'm playing. It's that people are there to hang out and spend their night with me. And hang out and have a conversation. So if I'm just playing the game and ignoring what's going on in chat, regardless of what platform I'm on, whether it be Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, whatever it is, if I'm ignoring the chat, then I'm not doing my job, you know?
Right.
Like, it's not about the gameplay. It's about the people that are there watching me, because there are hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people out there that are broadcasting gameplay on a variety of platforms, and they have the option to watch those other people. You know, and so if you're there in my chat, then I really respect that. And so therefore I respect you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really important to do that with the chat. I mean, like that comes back to the whole, like the content you give to your viewers is the most important. And part of that content is you, the person, you know, you got to make it more about yourself. I know it sounds like narcissistic, but you got to make it like people are coming to your channel for you, not necessarily the game you're playing. Because if it's the game you're playing, like let's say some guy's really big on Fortnite, but that's it. Like he doesn't get on anything else. You know, one of these days Fortnite will no longer be the top game.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And then when that happens, like what is that guy going to do? So you definitely got to make it so that they come back for you, the player, whether you're really good at a game or you like to talk to chat or you're comedic or whatever. But that's really cool. As far as, so the last week you've been covering E3 on your stream and on your podcast, which we will get to at some point.
All right.
And I want to know kind of what you thought of E3 as a whole and like what some of your favorite games were and stuff like that.
For me, E3 this year was probably I've been watching E3 since probably around 2006. I have been very impressed with E3 20. I think it was probably the best show that I've seen because of the variety of games, the fact that we had the reveal of so many amazing Bethesda games. Yeah. I was very impressed with Bethesda's conference. That's actually, I got a video going up tomorrow that I have to edit later on after this podcast that's talking about how Bethesda won E3 for me, you know, quote unquote won or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I was so impressed with the Cyberpunk 2077 Xbox reveal. Yeah. That looks amazing. I was blown away that they actually popped that cherry on Elder Scrolls 6. That was kind of nuts. There's so many good games, but overall, I mean, Bethesda really stole the show with everything from Fallout 76 to a new Doom. I don't know if you guys have played Quake Champions. Badass game that I gave a shot after the show. Worth checking out. Who would have thought? Like not a piece of shit. You're actually pretty good. But the Elder Scrolls Blades too was a really sick looking mobile game. I was kind of impressed with that. But what'd you guys think?
Well, I think all of us agree that Bethesda had the best showing, by far. Well, I mean, I enjoyed some of the other games. Like I've never been the biggest Bethesda fan. Like I like Elder Scrolls, but I was never like the biggest fanboy. I've always liked Fallout, but same. I've never been the biggest fanboy of that, but they had the best presentation by far. And just what they announced was definitely the biggest, you know, face of what's coming.
Yeah.
But, I did like Fallout 76. I'll be checking that out. I'm actually really excited for Nintendo's reveal of the new Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, and just because I
it looks pretty
Super
nuts.
Smash Brothers. Still don't have a Switch though. I need to get on that.
Yeah, I had a Switch for a while, but just the way that Nintendo products are, it doesn't cater to what my taste is. So I decided to give that to somebody that was going to take more care of it and give it more of the love that it deserved. Smash looks nuts because it has all of the characters, from all of the Smash games, and that's pretty crazy. And I think it's going to be definitely one of the defining things, especially with how the Joy-Cons work. I think that's going to be amazing just to be able to take it to a party. I know this is a scenario that few people actually, take part in.
Yeah, all those commercials always.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, when am I going to be sitting on a basketball court playing NBA with a Joy-Con? When am I going to do this? Like, in Mario Party, it's like, okay, I don't even know somebody else in my real life that owns a Switch. When am I going to have two that I can play Mario Party on? But I digress. It's good to see them branching out and trying new things, and to see Smash finally come out. And I wish we had seen more of Metroid Prime and the new Pokemon, like the mainline Pokemon. But I guess you win some, you lose some.
Now is the do you know, because I did see the new Pokemon reveal with the Let's Go Pikachu.
Yeah, that's the one that's coming out this year. And there's it's Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and that's coming out in the fall. And then next year they have a mainline Pokemon game, which is like the classic RPG. Like, this is the shit that you remember, the big Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
So the Let's Go Pikachu, is that just like an attachment to Pokemon Go, or is that? I thought that was kind of a new standalone game.
It is a new standalone game, but it has a lot of the same elements of the Pokemon Go kind of thing. It's very much so. It's kind of like a hybrid game of what I understand. Okay. Again, I'm not like the Pokemon fan guy. I'm just the guy that reports on everything on YouTube. But I mean, it looks okay. It looks okay. It's just like, it's not the Pokemon people want,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've always been, I always liked the original 151. So, I mean, if they take it back to that, I'll probably consider getting it.
I think it's going to be worth looking into for the people that love that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoy the old Game Boy Pokemon games. Like, that was one of the first Game Boy games I believe I had. And I spent hours on that shit. But, it's not big enough drive to me for that game to come out for me to go drop $300 on a Switch just to play that game.
Oh, understandable, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I've always loved Nintendo. I think my first gaming console was an original Nintendo, and then my next one was the Nintendo 64, and then I went to a GameCube. So, growing up, it was all Nintendo, and we played all the old RPGs and things like that. And then once Xbox came out, it's, wiped the floor with Nintendo. I was like, fuck this, threw it in the trash kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think my taste has just changed,
I think that's got to be what it is, just getting older, maybe. I don't know. Like, Super Smash Brothers is a lot of fun, but, I suck at it, I'm not going to lie, so.
Yeah, you just didn't like it because I'd always beat you.
That's probably what it was. You always stomp my ass, so I just got pissed. Never wanted to play it again.
Yeah, I loved Brawl. I used to play Brawl literally every day after school. I'd come home. I didn't have anyone to play with. I'd just be going against the computer. Like, I was just going hard on Brawl. It was super fun. I loved. I played a little bit of Melee back then too. But with Ultimate, I guess it's going to be a fighting game that I'm sure I'll play. I mean, I'm in college, so I'm sure that everybody's going to have Smash going, and
right.
And that's perfectly fine, and I'll definitely take part in that. But as far as the Switch goes, there are a couple of console sellers, but everybody was hyped up about Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey was like the shit there for a minute. And after checking out some gameplay, and I was hyped up too because I'm so ingrained in gaming culture. Whenever I see people getting on a bandwagon, I get my seat too.
Hop on there. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I looked at more gameplay and I was like, there is no way in hell that I want to play this. I do not care about throwing an animated hat onto a dinosaur. I do not want to do that. But I mean, I guess it's just taste, man. It's just taste. I like shooting stuff.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I've, my first console was also a Nintendo, original Nintendo. And I've always been a Nintendo fanboy. But I do think I'm slowly growing out of it because I was the exact same way. Like, Mario Odyssey came out. I checked it out. I'm like, this looks pretty fun. But would I buy it? No. Like, the biggest thing that draws me to buying a Nintendo Switch is the Fire Emblem series, which they announced a new one, which is awesome. And Legend of Zelda series. Like, those are the ones I'm in for. And I've really wanted to play Breath of the Wild.
It is good.
Yeah, I've heard it's like the best one, which is awesome.
It is good. It is really good. And even as somebody who didn't like the original, well, didn't like is a strong phrase. I was not as appreciative of them as the people you would meet in like a small town gaming store. Yeah, like I liked them, but I wasn't in love with them. Breath of the Wild is one of the most immersive experiences, and I played that shit in handheld mode. That is impressive storytelling. That is impressive world building. It is mind blowing how cool that is.
Yeah. So like that's the biggest thing I'm looking for there. I mean, Super Smash Brothers, I always have fun with it, but I'm more excited for Super Smash Brothers to watch esports come out of that. And I really, really hope that they made it competitive, because Brawl, the biggest issue with Brawl was there were some things that slowed down the game, the actual gameplay significantly for Melee, and made it a lot less competitive. Now there was still a huge esports scene around Brawl.
Of course.
But it was a lot more hardcore with Melee, and I do hope they kind of keep that Melee style. I mean, people still play Melee in tournaments and stuff now, and it's like a 15, 18-year-old game, something like that.
Yeah.
It's old.
Yeah, I mean, Melee is the go-to Smash for many tournaments. I know that Brawl is still a pretty good one, but everybody goes to Melee. That's like what you do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there was even a documentary on YouTube. I watched it.
I think after checking out the gameplay, there's definitely going to be a big competitive scene. I could see it being pretty big at something like Evo or even just the small town stuff. But I know they added a mini map for whenever you fly off the screen, you can tell where you are on the screen. Nice. And so that's a pretty big achievement. And also, I was reading an article, or I saw something on Twitter where it was the developer of Just Cause 4 who said, when you're developing a game, and of course, this is Nintendo, so to take this with a grain of salt, when you're developing a game in 2018 or 2017, you have to incorporate streaming and incorporate the idea that it will be watched to make the game one that is going to stick around.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, that's what you kind of have to do nowadays. I mean, that's why, as excited as I am for Battlefield 5, I know that's the only reason that they're adding a BR mode, like a battle royale mode.
Of course,
they're trying to get into that whole field and take over Fortnite.
I don't get why they're adding in the battle royale mode, because I understand that Battlefield has the scope, the maps are there, the potential is there to make a mode, but Battlefield has never been about the last man standing. You know, it's not about a
team game.
Yeah, exactly. It's always been something where you have a giant ass team and you just go back and forth and you're just throwing everything you've got at each other. To have that I don't want to 1v1 someone sniping 3 miles away that's crouching in a bush. Like, that sounds terrible. I mean, like I don't want that experience all the time. I like it whenever I have the chance to, get it whenever I have, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1 in, but I don't want that as like the core battle royale thing. So I hope they change it up to where it's not your PUBG or your Fortnite, but it probably is just going to be your PUBG or Fortnite.
Well, I'm really excited for it because I feel like PUBG has fallen short, and I feel like Fortnite has also fallen short, as popular as it is, and I understand a lot of people like it, but I don't. I don't. There's still a lot of bugs, a lot of things that just, first of all, I don't like the cartoony style, but I just don't enjoy that. I think Battlefield 5 could literally take over that market really well, just because of how their games have been in the past. Like you said, they have the maps, they have the sides of the maps ready. They know what they're doing with large scale battles and vehicles, like getting in vehicles, things like that. And I think it would be the perfect game to add a battle royale mode on the side that could get them a lot of people to buy the game. Now, the biggest thing is, from what we've seen, is that people tend to go to free battle royales. And that's why Fortnite blew up so fast, is because it was free. So I wonder if they're going to make the actual battle royale mode on Battlefield 5 free. I doubt it, but who knows? It is EA.
Yeah, I think it's highly doubtful that they'll make it free. But PUBG did make it free, and I mean, PUBG was big for a long time, not as big as Fortnite. I mean, last week, I actually talked about it on the morning show today. It was 125 million players have started playing Fortnite. That is more than League of Legends.
Holy
That's nuts.
shit.
125 million people in less than 24 hours. 2 million people downloaded it on the Switch, where the frame rate is less than 30 frames per second. Take that into consideration. This game is a Goliath. Like, I know it's not for everybody. I've played the game a lot. I understand why you don't like it. I totally get that. Deep down, I don't even like it, but I'm still playing it. But
Deep down.
but it's just, I mean, deep down, if I'm being honest, I don't like it. But to see Battlefield and also Call of Duty coming back, I think what you're going to see is that what we've seen between Fortnite and PUBG up until now, this is amateur hour, boys.
Yeah,
like
it is.
this is where things are just heating up. We're going to see the resurgence of the classic COD versus Battlefield thing, where who's got the better BR, you know?
For sure.
And it's crazy to see this. I call it a genre because that's what I think it is. Other people would say otherwise, but I really feel like between Blackout and whatever they call Battlefield 5's thing, that it will definitely be a really interesting fall. I'm excited about the Call of Duty one just because I feel like the fast-paced gameplay is going to pair well with having the greatest hits map, basically, where you have locations from all of the Call of Duties, or at least the Black Ops ones. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, but overall, BR has really pushed the industry in a way that not a lot of people, I mean, there are some people that don't like it. There are some people that do like it, but it's definitely pushed the industry in a way that I didn't know it could be pushed in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like with BR, I don't know. I just think that, like you said, Battlefield and COD, they're going to be the one, it's going to become a battle between them again. And the reason I'm also excited for Call of Duty, I think it's Black Ops 4. Is that the official name of it?
Yep.
The reason I'm excited for that one is the Overwatch team is actually working on that, or was. I don't know if it's actually done or if they're in post-processing or whatever they're doing, but the Overwatch team is working on it, and I know Overwatch is very successful as well, and I'm a Blizzard fan. So I'll probably be checking both out because I've been playing Battlefield since Battlefield 1942, and I've also played COD since COD 1. So I'll probably be getting both of them, or at least wait and see which one kind of wins out that battle to join and jump on board.
Wins out the battle royale. Oh.
The
I'll be getting both of them too because for Battlefield 1, I fell in love with it again. You know, I got it for $15 probably about a month ago on PS4. I played it on PC when it came out, but man, that is if you go and you play Battlefield 1 on PC right now, you just look like a pretzel covered in salt. Just, oh my gosh, it is freaking nutty how salty that community is, and just sweaty, and it is just you get in there and it's just you get sniped from 6 miles away. You don't even see the little son of a bitch. You don't even know, man. You don't even know. And so I started playing on PS4, and it's like, oh, these kids suck. That's great. Let's go. And so I've really enjoyed that. I'll be playing that on PS4 just because I can shit on people in that game.
Yeah, I mean, we both picked up Battlefield 1 when it first came out, and I had a lot of fun as well. It was probably the best Battlefield game that I've played since Bad Company 2, and then of course Battlefield 1942. I fell in love with that game. I loved Battlefield 1942, even though now
when you played 1942, what were you playing it on?
Oh,
PC.
God,
I've always been a
Toaster
PC
box
player.
Yeah.
So this is when it came out way back.
Yeah, it was a
10
long time
years
ago.
or more.
Yeah, I think they released, was it Battlefield 1943 on PS3?
Yeah, I think that came out at some point.
There was like a digital remake of it where it was slightly better and like the same maps and stuff. I played the shit out of that. It was amazing on PS3, and that's where I mean, obviously I'm younger than you guys, but like I really did enjoy the feel of the game, and I'm getting that vibe from Battlefield 1. Of course, it's been sped up because modernization,
Right.
But it still is a fantastic rendition of bringing that Battlefield gameplay back in. And it really did come in a period where the whole futuristic thing was the dominating force. And I think Battlefield 1 did really well in combining fast paced with the classic Battlefield kind of experience.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, the thing is, I've always, like Nathan and me, we're both really kind of big fans of World War II history. So anything World War II, I'm willing to check out. Like I did play World at War, Call of Duty. Battlefield 1942, and I'm glad. I don't know how to feel about Battlefield 5 yet. I guess I'll play it and see, but it's like an alternate universe kind of World War II, from what I understand.
I haven't done much research on it. I kind of jump in and experience the story whenever I get there.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like that's what I heard is it's like a alternate universe World War II where kind of like Wolfenstein, like something else happens. I don't know.
I was going to say, I mean, if it's like Wolfenstein, all right.
Right.
So I'll definitely be looking forward to playing through the campaign on that to see what it's like, but I will probably be picking up both of those. But yeah, other than that, we went down a freaking rabbit hole with Battlefield versus COD.
It was a good rabbit hole.
It was a good rabbit hole. So other than that, like at E3, I did like the Nintendo. I Bethesda obviously won that out. I didn't watch the Sony one, but I heard it was really bad. So
Oh,
I don't
man,
own
it
a
was-
PS4, never owned PlayStation, so I couldn't give a shit what Sony
Yeah.
brought out. But
See,
even then,
go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, even though I don't care about it, like that was the biggest letdown that I saw. Well, probably next to EA, but Sony just crashed and burned, and I don't know why because I didn't watch it. I was hoping you could probably fill me in on that because I have
Oh,
no
I
idea.
can fill you in on it real quick. All right, so you guys know you mentioned I was doing a lot of E3 coverage.
Mhm.
So in the course of like 4 days, I made like 15 videos. I did streams of every conference except for Square Enix and Nintendo because it was the direct, and it's like my people know me, so it's like I don't care about Square Enix, and I'm not a big Nintendo fan, so you guys can just catch up on that later. But going into the Sony conference, of course, hype levels through the roof because like you guys grew up on Nintendo, I grew up on
Mhm.
PlayStation.
Right.
I had a PS1 at age I think 4, and then I jumped in and I was doing PS2. I had PS3. I got an Xbox 360. I'm back on PS4. It's like I've always been a PlayStation fan, so I'm hyped up.
Right.
They come out and they're in this tent, you know, and the lighting looks good. Then they go to the then they go to the display screen, and it looks like whenever a dad is recording his daughter's piano recital and like the phone is shaking and it's like, oh, is that her? She looks so good. And it's like, oh, is that Sean Layden? He looks great. And so he's up there presenting and stuff. And then he goes, and without further ado, it's like Gustavo Quincinelli or whatever. And this dude wearing a hoodie comes out and starts playing the banjo.
I saw part of that, dude.
A dude
I
comes
was like,
out and
what
starts
the
playing-
fuck is going on here?
And so he's playing the banjo and he goes on for like, I don't know, maybe, and some dude yells Freebird. And then he starts and he starts playing the banjo for like 45 seconds, and then it goes into this badass The Last of Us 2 trailer. It looks great.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's The Last of Us Part 2. And then they cut to a 30-minute intermission talk show.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's
like-
what I heard was like the
and they
biggest
have, like-
letdown.
They have like writers that are on the PlayStation blog coming in. Sean Layden has suddenly appeared. I guess it's next to the tent. I don't know. And then about, 40 minutes later, they come back and they have the quote unquote real show where it's like a whole bunch of really good looking gameplay. And I love, it made a comeback, but it's like if you were just riding down the road and for no reason on a bike, you just shove the thing in your spokes in your tire and just flip the bike. Like, I don't know why. And it's just like the tent and the display and the audio and I don't. And then there was a Ghost of Tsushima trailer where at the very beginning of it there was a 5-minute flute solo.
Oh
There
my
was
god.
oh my god! Out of all of the Sony press conferences I've watched, the past 2 years they have killed it. They brought out the big dogs. It has been nice. All of a
Right.
sudden, now we have a flute solo and a banjo man and a 30-minute talk show in the middle of the conference. I don't know.
It's like they just fucking threw it together at the last minute. Like whoever
Yeah.
their creative director was fucking on vacation, took a hiatus or whatever, came back the last 2 days like, fuck, I gotta throw something together real quick. Let's just throw in a whole bunch of instrumentals and we'll go with it. Like I was like, what the fuck?
Or maybe
I mean,
they
like,
just didn't have as much to present this year. Like they knew they were behind in terms of like what everyone else was bringing to the table, which is a bad time to do it right now when like all of gaming is on the rise. It's a horrible time to fuck up like
Yeah,
that.
I feel like it's not necessarily that there isn't a lot to show, but they focus more on their first party stuff than
Mhm.
Xbox does, which is obviously the main competition here.
Right.
So like with Xbox coming in, they had 50 games shown off at their show, but only
Yeah.
18 of those were exclusives and 15 were world premieres.
Mhm.
So you have where they're focusing more on showing what you can play on Xbox, but PlayStation is showing those core experiences that can only be had on PlayStation. And
Yeah.
so there are fewer, but everybody else is going to talk about the other stuff, you know?
Mhm.
Like I could show you more Battlefield 5 running on a PS4 Pro. It might not even be running on a PS4 Pro. I could just show you Battlefield 5. You wouldn't know the difference.
Right.
But like I don't need to show you that. So it was a shorter conference, but they were trying to kind of, because the tent they were in is supposed to be what was in the Last of Us Part 2 trailer. So it was supposed
Right.
to be like an artistic little transition, but it ended up just being like that wasn't worth it. So it wasn't
did-
worth it.
I did see the trailer of The Last of Us 2, and I'm not gonna lie, like the gameplay looked pretty cool. I know it was scripted,
Oh yeah.
all of E3 was mostly scripted, which is fine. I don't know why people gripe about that, but like it was good. Like I enjoyed it. Not enough for me to buy a PlayStation. Probably will never own a PlayStation, but it was a good trailer. Like I was very impressed with their gameplay trailers, but they just bombed everything else.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, the presentation was terrible. I liked the trailers, but the presentation and the format of the show was just nuts, man.
Yeah. And then, other than Sony, wasn't Ubisoft on the same day?
It's been, I think it was Ubisoft and Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they announced their Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I believe, right? That was their big announcement there. So, I mean, that kind of covers all the days. So, Bethesda obviously wanted out. PlayStation or Sony was, I don't know if you guys would agree, is it the worst one out of all of them?
I mean, I think, just my opinion, Nintendo was probably. Wait, hold on. Square Enix, if we're counting like all of them. But if we're talking the big dogs, I would say Nintendo's last for me. Just because, do I need 28 minutes of Smash? Do I really need it in my life?
Right.
Like, it's like we have 15 minutes left to show off. We did 15 minutes of Smash gameplay. What else should we show?
Mm-hmm.
How about more Smash? Yeah, but I mean, like it's all well and good. It was fine, but yeah, I would say Nintendo's probably the last for me.
Yeah, I think Nintendo, they're kind of riding off the wave of their last year, because last year they killed it like across the board with Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. So I think they're kind of riding the wave off of that, and maybe they hoped for too much here to where they didn't have to present as much. But right. I mean, it's their thing. I mean, if that's what they want to do. What do you think, Nathan? Which one was your least favorite?
Least favorite one that I only got to catch part of EA, part of Bethesda, and then part of, well, I caught some of Microsoft's too. But from what I saw, probably EA was the biggest letdown. We were talking earlier before the podcast, but I think a lot of people that were watching for EA were expecting something to come from The Sims, and they didn't drop anything about The Sims, so that was kind of a letdown. But maybe we'll get it next year. I don't know. I was a big Division fan, and so I was kind of excited to see the Division 2 gameplay. But like we've had conversations about this in the past. I think the only thing that keeps me from playing the Division franchise right now is the whole Dark Zone interaction thing. Like if the Division was a open world MMORPG where while you're doing story content, like you could have the PvP interactions, I would be a lot more amped to play the Division. But having to separate yourself from doing PvP and PvP, or PvE and PvP, is what kills it for me. Like they need to have PvE servers and they need to have PvP servers, kind of like World of Warcraft did have. You need to have the option to mash it all together or keep it separate. So that was kind of a letdown that they didn't do anything with that with the Division 2. But the story for Division 2 looks pretty good, so I'll probably be picking that up. I've never played Fallout, never played any of the Fallout games, never been a big Bethesda fan, never really played Elder Scrolls, which I'll probably be picking up ESO, try that out, just to dip my toes in it. But as far as production value went, Bethesda had to take the cake for me, and then probably my biggest letdown was EA, because I was kind of bummed about anything coming out. But
yeah. I mean, I'm willing to bet money that they're going to announce The Sims 5 next year at the next E3.
I hope so. EA
I'm sure, because I think there was some kind of expansion that was revealed on the side or maybe before the show, something like that, where there's like a big additional thing coming out. But by the way, if you have never played Elder Scrolls Online is a totally different beast as compared to something like Skyrim or any of the other ones. It is a way different experience. So don't base your judgment on Elder Scrolls Online.
Right. Well, I have played Skyrim, and I tunneled straight through it, went through the whole story mission, got to the end, killed the dragon, spoiler alert, and like I didn't do any of the side stuff. It really didn't interest me. Playing through the story campaign was fun, And experience as a gamer for me has always been growing up. It was first person shooters, got to where I started playing PC, went to MMORPGs, and I'll probably never go back to console now that I'm on PC. So Elder Scrolls Online is probably going to be the only thing that brings me back to Elder Scrolls. So
yeah, I mean, it's worth giving it a shot. If you've played through Skyrim and you've gotten that first kind of taste, then Elder Scrolls Online is like that with like a dash of WoW, you know, and it's like it just has that little, it has a little aftertone. It's kind of like whenever you have like, I don't know, something's been, this is a really bad analogy, something's been sitting next to something else and you have that taste, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, but that was a really bad analogy. I'm sorry, I apologize. You know when it's sitting next to something? No, but yeah, it's worth giving it a shot. I mean, I enjoyed the small amount of time that I spent with it. Again, I'm not a big MMO guy, so it didn't really cater to me, but it's worth looking into. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Now the last thing we'll cover here before we wrap everything up is Caffeinate. So
yeah,
that is your morning podcast that you do. From what I can see, like I downloaded it on my podcast app, and you seem to do one like almost every day or every day.
Yeah, it's 5 days a week. It's I do it live. It's on youtube.com/Samuel Adams Media. I stream it every weekday morning at 7 a.m. And then I use Anchor.fm to upload it to not only Anchor, but also I think 5 other podcast services with Spotify on the way. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. And like, so the only thing I actually checked out from Caffeinate so far is your whole E3 coverage. So I knew all of your answers already before this podcast.
Yeah, well, it was crazy the way that it all worked out because for some reason, I don't know if I'm just lucky and I hit the algorithm really well on Anchor or whatever it is, but I've been under the On the Rise tab for the majority of the time that I've had the app installed, which is about 4 months. So I don't know if that's just like a numbers based thing, but I'm always pretty much able to be found on the front page of something. And then I was number 2 underneath the E3 2018 coverage. So nice. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I was really glad. I got a lot of follows, got a lot of favorites. People have been hitting me up, and I was on a podcast yesterday. But it's really cool to see that it's taken off. But yeah, I did a lot of E3 coverage, and then pretty much throughout the rest of the day, like I said, I'm on Twitter a lot. So whenever I wake up in the morning, I get up at 6, and I go on my last day's liked tweets just to see what I've liked, and I pick out the top 8 or 9 or 10 news stories from that list. And then I just go down, I read through the article, and then I just talk about what I think about it and how it could have an impact on the industry or what's going on. And then I just roll through that. And then somebody one day said, hey, you should make it a podcast. So I just recorded with Audacity, and then I upload it on Anchor, and boom, it's just there and people enjoy it. So it's been going fairly well.
That's the way to do it, man. Yeah.
It was kind of nuts. I was just one day, I think it was like March the 10th, and I was just working, and I was like, you know what? I think tomorrow I'm going to start a podcast, and I've been doing it every day since.
Well, there you go. It's the way to do it.
But yeah, I enjoy it. People like it. So
yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed the coverage you had on there. It was really informative and kind of getting your view on things on E3. So that was really interesting to listen to. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get us into the last segment, our random thought of the day. To discuss before we wrap up the show. So it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the podcast. So now that you're on Mixer and Twitch is making all these changes with affiliates and partners, do you think that Twitch is going to start implementing some of Mixer's superior features like co-streaming, for example, or the FTL chat? Just little things like that I feel make Mixer a superior program in that sense. Now it doesn't have as many viewers, but right. I feel like it's more I don't know, it's more up to par like with modern time, I guess.
Yeah, I think that as I see these platforms growing, because right now I would say that you have Twitch as number 1 for live streaming, then you have YouTube Gaming, which is number 2. Then I would say you probably got Mixer, and then below that, Facebook Gaming, and a couple of other ones that no one really jumps on. Caffeine.tv is one. But to see Twitch kind of finally have some competition in the game is going to breed a lot of innovation, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do respond. The first thing they've got to do is make it to where the chat is instantaneous. We have got to have that it is the biggest thing to be able to actually have a conversation with your chat. Of course, for people like Soda Poppin' that are wandering around like Disney World or whatever, he doesn't care about the chat.
Yeah,
but
he don't
for
care.
but for like a little affiliates and stuff like that have, I don't know, 2 or 3 people where they're depending on that interaction, to be able to have that conversation is going to boost them up a good bit. So with the FTL stuff, that's got to happen. But what Twitch has to do is not take what Mixer's doing or not take what Facebook is implementing or anything like that. And they've got to they've got to be innovative. They've got to bring their own ideas that makes it to where somebody wants to stream on Twitch over another platform because of X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like there's got to, obviously right now the viewership is there, but the majority of that viewership is in the top 2% of the streams. So even as somebody who is going in just wanting to be a streamer, it's hard to get any kind of viewership. And for some people, it's even hard to get to affiliate to get that concurrent 3. And so I think the Mixer is really good in doing that. And I feel like Twitch has to find some way. I mean, obviously, they're going through an entire redesign of their front page, and it's being rolled out over the month of June. Mm-hmm. But it's bringing in more of the smaller streamers to the front page and trying to kind of do more recommended stuff that might not just be your standard Tim the Tap Man, Dr. Disrespect, and I don't know, Lyric. Like you have alternatives there. And I think that's a pretty good step in the right direction. But again, the competition is what's going to push this industry forward. And I'm just freaking excited to be here for it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the Mixer's feature of co-streaming is amazing compared to anything Twitch has come out with for co-streaming. Like for Twitch, you co-stream with someone and you have to like give out a separate link, and there's like the chats aren't put together. Like Mixer does it very well, where it has everything there for you. The chats are mixed and you're like good to go.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a really great way to not only for the viewer to see, I don't know, let's say that you're playing Destiny 2 and people are doing a raid. It's fantastic to be able to see every perspective of that raid in real time and chat with the people in real time. That is crazy. Right now you can do that on Twitch, but like you said, you have to do a multi-stream and set up a specific link, or there's a thing that Broman has called raredrop.co. And so you can go over there, and if you're playing on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, and YouTube Gaming, all 4 of those people can be in a multi-stream together. That's crazy, you know, and that's pretty cool to see. But Twitch definitely has to have some kind of co-streaming because it's so good for networking too. To be able to say, hey, do you want to hit me up with some squads in Fortnite with these 3 other guys? And then you can actually see all of them playing Fortnite together. That is candy for everybody between the ages of 8 and 15. Like that. But that is like, but that's crazy to be able to have that kind of technological enhancement right there. And yeah, Twitch has definitely got to do something because these features have been around for so long that you would think that changes would have had to be made, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, another thing I've noticed is how easy it is to host somebody on Mixer.
Yeah, you just click like a button with 3 little dots on it, and then boom, you're good to go.
Yeah. Now, it probably doesn't mean as much on Mixer, at least at the current moment, unless it's a streamer that's doing it. But like, it's just so easy. Like, you know, if you make an account on Mixer, you're automatically a streamer in their eyes. So you kind of have your own channel. And you can just host that. Now, no one's probably going to go to your channel, but, you know, it's a good way to show support, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's more so, I mean, we call them host trains because whenever somebody clicks host, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And a notification will pop up.
Everybody's just doing it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I've had it where somebody will host and then all of a sudden I'll get 10 hosts and be like, oh, thanks, guys. But it's cool to be able just to show appreciation and support in a way that if it's not even, you know, an actual way to support somebody through a donation or whatever, it's still just a motivational kind of thing. But I mean, it's really good whenever you have somebody who's big on Mixer come in. I mean, I've had partner streamers that come in and check out my content and they'll host me and it's like, oh, hey, look at that. You like me. And and I mean, that's pretty cool to be able to see that kind of stuff. But no, for the majority of people that host, it doesn't mean anything, regardless of platform. No one really cares. So,
yeah. All right, man. Well, I had a lot of fun on the podcast. I hope you did as well.
I did, man. I would love to be back. I love talking about this stuff. I could literally do this for hours.
Absolutely. We'll definitely get you back on at some point. Now, if people wanted to reach out to you or check out your stuff, how can they do that? And that includes like podcast, everything. Just like throw it all out there.
Yeah, the best way to keep up with everything that I make is, as you guys would probably guess, twitter.com/prettychillguy. That is like the
Pretty
hub
Chill
of
Guy.
everything. Yeah, and I've thought about switching it to like Samuel Adams Media or something. Oh, hell no. That's my username. Pretty Chill Guy. People would pay for that.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I put my links to all the YouTube, all of the Mixer stuff that I do. If I'm ever on Facebook messing around, just trying out that platform, I'll do that kind of stuff. But I also do some written work on Medium, if you want to check that out, at the Samuel Adams. And again, all of these links can be found littered throughout my Twitter feed, like some kind of I don't know, pile of trash or something. But but you can check all that stuff out, man. I'd appreciate it. And it's a good time. I enjoy doing it, and I like being able to network with you fine people.
Hell
Awesome, man. Yeah, dude, it was a pleasure. I'll definitely get all that in the show notes so everyone can see that and
I
check
appreciate
it out
that, man.
and all that. So, other than that, any last thoughts, guys?
Yeah, before we go, I have to know. I mean, this is the Cold One with the Boys podcast, and your name is Samuel Adams. So, are you a beer drinker? Do you drink Samuel Adams beer, or is this coming from President? Yep. Samuel Adams was the president, right?
Negative.
Nope.
Holy shit. Okay, so I know there's a couple Adams, right?
Yeah,
John
John
Adams
Adams
and
yeah.
John
Yeah.
Quincy Adams. Those
And then
are
what was
two,
the
I
other one?
think. I think those were the two, John Adams and John
Henry
Quincy
Adams? Or was that
I
like a
don't-
man with a beard? I'm not
I don't
sure.
fucking remember.
Grizzly
It's been
Adams
so
had a
long.
beard, dude.
Anyways, let's talk about booze. Yes, I do drink. I actually turned 21 in March. So
Hell yeah.
Oh, nice.
so we're on that train now, and yeah, I normally drink. I live in North Carolina, and that's kind of like our culture is local breweries. So I drink a lot of local beer. But as far as like the good old fashioned go to the grocery store and pick up a 12 pack, I would say that I'm more of a Bud Light Platinum kind of guy, and I also like. I also like Corona. I'm
Yeah.
literally your
Dude.
most stereotypical. I'm your most stereotypical white guy you'll ever meet when it comes to drinking.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. Corona is one of my faves. Like, I don't.
Corona's
like
good.
beers.
I tried the new premium. There's a new one. I'm really like health centric, so there's one with 90 calories in it. It doesn't taste as shitty as you'd think. It's actually pretty good. So yeah, Corona premium's pretty good. I
awesome.
like Bud Light Platinum, but yeah.
You should reach out to Samuel Adams.
I
beer.
fully intend to.
Yeah.
Get that sponsorship, boy.
I would love that, dude.
I've tried quite a few of Samuel Adams beers, and my go-to has always been the cherry wheat. So, if you ever
I'm
get
a big fan
chance
of the
to pick that up-
Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is my.
is good. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
your
it's not bad.
typical Bud Light beer for Samuel Adams, but yeah, we can go with that.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, guys. Well, other than that, everyone have a good day, good week, and we will see you guys next week.
Appreciate you guys.
Laters.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to the episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and even if you didn't, we would love to hear your feedback, which can be sent to coldonepodcast@gmail.com or leave a review of what you thought on iTunes. It really does help us make this experience better for you, the listener. If you would like more contact with us, you can follow us on social media. Just look for @Cold1Podcast on Twitter and Facebook. All this information can be found at our website, actionsperminute.net. You can also get a hold of us pretty much every day by joining the APM Network Discord, which is also on the website. And lastly, if you like what we do, tell your friends, your family, your enemies, and coworkers about it. Thanks, guys, and remember, don't drink and drive.